Have you already heard that the next big FromSoftware Soulsborne game might have leaked? Yes, a Soulsborne game that is coming after Armored Core 6. It's already confirmed that Shadow of the Erdtree, an expansion for Elden Ring, is coming. We can already pre-purchase Armored Core 6, which will most likely not be a Souls-like game. But what about this mysterious huge Souls game FromSoftware is potentially working on? How you going? Mighty Melva here, and today we have a rather spicy topic. A new FromSoft's big Soulsborne title that has been leaked. There's plenty of interesting information on the internet that might indicate that this leak is actually real. Still, let's all take this information with a huge grain of salt, but also pay close attention to it. In today's video we will talk about the information we have so far, speculate, fantasize a bit, and just generate an interesting discussion down below in the comments. Here's your warning, this whole thing might be a big pile of baloney. Let's start with this screenshot saying that 4chan user claims FromSoftware's next game after Armored Core 6 is called Spellbound, and that it might be teased at the Game Awards this year. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, 4chan. Expecting everything you read on 4chan to be true is like drinking non-alco beer expecting to get drunk. Although information on 4chan cannot be treated as pinnacle of reliance, Elden Ring leaks emerged from 4chan and actually proven to be true. Do you remember how bullshit it sounded back then? I remember. It sounded like bullshit. Like, come on, an open world Souls-like game with a story written by George R.R. Martin? Bullshit! Anonymous nature of 4chan is perfect environment for leakers. Some might say that FromSoftware has leakage problems, but I won't be surprised if, knowing how big of a mastermind troll he is, Hidetaka Miyazaki is actually letting it happen on purpose. At the bottom of the screenshot it says that FromSoftware's next game after Armored Core 6 will be called Spellbound and is due to be released in the first quarter of 2025, and it might get a short few seconds teaser during TGA 2023, where the first proper trailer will be shown in summer 2024. This is a screenshot from Kenneth Chan's LinkedIn profile. It says here that Kenneth, aside from being a lead game designer / project manager for Elden Ring, also appears to be a producer for an unannounced project since January 2022, up until now, so for 1 year and 3 months. Armored Core 6 is announced, so something is definitely coming. I mean, it's kinda obvious that FromSoft is constantly working on new stuff, and this can't be treated as solid proof that Spellbound is really coming after Armored Core 6. It just means that something is coming after Armored Core 6. Before we get into Spellbound gameplay details, I'd like to casually remind you that if you want to support me, the best way to do so is to subscribe to the channel and interact with this or any other videos on this channel, in any shape or form. It massively helps me. Cheers. Now let's take a look at the info that was leaked. Look. The game has been in development since mid-2021. Current release window is for first quarter of 2025, February to March 2025. Earliest possible reveal is a few seconds long teaser during this year's TGA. Earliest possible trailer will be shown in summer 2024, most likely June 2024. The game is directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. The game will be published by FromSoftware as well. There will be no third-party studios publishing the game. Just imagine. No more Bandai Namco blinding screens. It's just magical. The game will release solely on the next-gen consoles and PC. The game is mainly a spin-off of the Souls formula with a heavy emphasis on magic. We'll expand on this more later. Let's see. The game takes place in the late 18th century European-inspired fictional world. The game is not a spiritual sequel to Bloodborne, and the game has no connections with Bloodborne, which is a shame. The game has one very large legacy dungeon, which is the city in which game takes place in, and an open world outside it. The city is about 2-3 times larger than all of the Elden Ring's dungeons combined, and is probably the most interconnected world FromSoftware has designed so far. The open world segment of the game is as big as 2 to 3 open world areas of Elden Ring. The open world segments of the game contains forests, farmlands, mountainous areas, coasts, villages, caves, and smaller dungeons. Overall, the game size is probably slightly smaller than Elden Ring. And here are some further gameplay details. In this game, the main divergence from the series is that the main focus of the game are spells. Spells can be wielded like weapons and have movesets like normal weapons. Charged R2, R1, R1, R1 combos, backstab R1, etc. There's no mana bar in the game, and spells do not have finite use. They use stamina, which generates like any other Souls game. There are still melee weapons in the game, and melee builds are still a viable option. It's just that the main focus of the game is on spells. There are melee weapons with magical abilities / projectiles. There is a system similar to the Ashes of War system from Elden Ring. The game has no set protagonist, and there's a character creator. The game will have multiplayer. The game has no chalice dungeon system that I'm aware of yet. There's a great emphasis on customizing your gear and clothing. Customizing your gear and clothing gives them various effects that changes them both visually and gameplay wise. There are weapons that are similar to trick weapons from Bloodborne, but these have a magical stance and a normal melee stance instead of physical transformation. The game in general is a bit more action oriented and less RPG oriented. I would classify it as being much more RPG oriented than Sekiro and a bit less than Bloodborne. Sounds a little bit confusing. There are underwater areas in the game, and the player character can swim. The player character can crouch, jump and hug walls, however they cannot climb. There's a day and night cycle in the game, however it is mostly visual and it only has some effects on some enemies and selected few areas. In the future, if I make an update post regarding this game, I will give you an information about this post and will confirm my identity. What's also really interesting is that there was a request made on Reddit for a subreddit called Spellbound, and this subreddit was abandoned for 5 or so years. Here's the text provided by the author of the post. Around an hour ago, someone made a post on 4chan claiming that FromSoftware's next game would be called Spellbound. Then a Reddit user made a post about it on Gaming Leaks and Rumors that I have linked on the top of my post. On that same post, some people claimed that there was already a game in development called Spellbound, made by Chucklefish Studios, so I checked to see if there was a subreddit for Spellbound. Now apparently Spellbound got its name changed to Witchbrook, and the subreddit was closed around 5 years ago. Then I checked the only moderator's post, and I saw that on March 27th, the moderator made a post on Reddit requests, which is sub for people to make requests to get moderatorship of old and abandoned subs. The user requested the subreddit for the following reason. I quote, "I'd like to use this subreddit to build a community for the upcoming game Spellbound, which is rumored to be in development by FromSoftware. I'd like to use this subreddit to build a community for the game so fans of the game and other FromSoftware games can have a place to talk about the game on the subreddit. There are no current moderators of this subreddit as it was banned for being unmoderated." What's really weird is that the rumors about the game Spellbound started spreading after the request, which could mean 3 things. 1. It's a weird Twilight Zone type coincidence. 2. The requester is the same person who leaked the information on 4chan. And 3. Somebody's full of shit. I guess we'll see. They promised that they will give us some more information as well as confirm their identity. What do I think about it? I don't know, man. I think it all can very well be true, despite, how good it sounds. As I mentioned earlier, the same thing happened with Elden Ring, that was called Great Rune, an open-world Souls game with hundreds of dungeons, secrets, bosses and items with George R.R. Martin writing story for it. Did sound ridiculous and ended up being very true. But again, it could also just be somebody trolling and rocking the boat. Anyways, it's always fun to speculate and imagine what FromSoftware have in store for us in the future. Bottom line is, it does sound interesting. I want this to be true, and you know what, at this point I'm actually ready to buy anything FromSoftware does. Would it be Spellbound, Dark Rings, Armored Souls, King's Field 3? And what do you think? Let me know about it in the comments. I will definitely keep an eye out and make a follow-up video if there's new information. Let's see, the leaker actually said that they will provide more information later on. Thank you very much for watching my video. Have a good one, see ya!